Hi, and thank you for joining me for another video. Friends, enough beating around the bush. I'm just gonna say it. Look, wise Gentiles will become Jewish and wise Jews will encourage this. And this is the goal of BeJewish.org. That's why I encourage both Jews and non-Jews to rethink it all and strip away nonsense from their theology, so that in the words of the Rambam, they can choose to be within the palace with the king instead of outside. And in all my videos, I prove how these are not my opinions, but what Judaism has been teaching all along. And why am I so passionate about this topic? Because, friends, there's a valid opinion in Judaism that the vast majority of the world will embrace Torah Judaism and not the Sheva Mitzvahs. And the culmination of this is what we call the Messianic Age. And this is really where the vast majority of religious folk get stuck. The concept of the Messiah and the Messianic Age. And friends, like I said many times before, that the Torah or even all of Nach does not revolve around the Messiah, but rather the Messianic Age, Yemos HaMashiach, right? The notion that all of humanity is moving forward together into some great age of peace is exactly what Judaism was intended to encourage. And this, my friends, is sound theology. And how can we prove it? Because it amplifies the ultimate ends in itself, which is peace. So friends, if your religion doesn't in its basis encourage ultimate peace that is built on a rational, logical foundation, then friends, you're just in the wrong religion. But friends, I got good news for you today. It's not too late to get on the right path. And in that spirit, friends, let me tell you about Judaism, the only belief system today that encompasses this principle. Friends, God created the first man with the basis to know good from evil. We see this how when Cain kills Abel, he feels remorse and tries to avoid God's questions, or how God could destroy Sodom and Gomorrah when they never formally accepted any set of laws. And what do I mean by formally accepted a set of laws? Well, friends, we know that the reason the Jews are obligated to keep the 613 commandments is because at Har Sinai they said, Nasiv and Ishma, right? That they will do and they will listen. But the non-Jewish world never accepted the 7 laws. However, they were still judged against them. How? Well, the Rambam writes in Hilchos Malachim that the sin that Shem committed was not enforcing dinim, the commandment to establish courts of justice, which is, like we said, one of the 7 laws. But in More Nevuchim, in the Guide of the Perplexed, we see that he states that the revelation at Sinai was the only mass revelation of mitzvahs that God ever revealed to humanity, and was the only time the Sheva Mitzvahs were ever mentioned formally to the world. So what does this teach us? Well, it teaches us that the 7 laws are our conscience, even though you never accepted them upon your life, because they are the bare standards of decency. So in other words, they are binding even though you never formally accepted them. Because if you choose to live, you've chosen the 7 laws. Why? Because the penalty of deliberately breaking any of those commandments is death. So there's no real point of formally accepting anything, because you are a Ben Noach regardless. So again, what I am saying, friends, is that God placed in every one of us the basis to know what is good from what is evil. And that, again, my friends, is our conscience. And it actually desires to fulfill those laws. But not just the 7, but actually more if you let it. And if you think about it, this is the only way we could actually get credit for doing good. In other words, no one could say that the reason I'm not religious is because I'm not religiously inclined, or I didn't know stealing or killing was wrong because no one ever told me, right? If that argument was a good argument, it would have been used by Cain, but God knew that Cain knew it was wrong to kill. Why? Again, because of the bare standard of decency he instilled in all of us, the 7 laws. And this actually levels the ethical playing field, because now we could all be judged equally for choosing or not choosing a religious life, or in other words, walking closer with the Almighty. And this is why it states in Mishlei that the wise will take up commandments, and that's why wise Gentiles will convert to Judaism. And the culmination of this has actually always been how the Messianic Age has been described, that one man will not have to tell his neighbor, know the Lord, for they will all know him, from the least least of them to the greatest. And this does not mean the Noahide laws, because Noahides are not commanded to have a relationship with the Almighty, or in other words, know Him. And that's why the prophets teach that God will give us a new covenant, that He will write the Torah on our hearts, which means what? That He will make it part of our conscience, just as the 7 laws were. And this is not just a good idea, friends. This is the purpose of creation and the purpose of being Jewish, to bring the world to Torah Judaism, and the basis, as how the Rambam explains, of loving God, that you only love the Creator to the extent that you draw others to Him. So, friends, this is our mission, to fulfill what the Almighty said to Avram Avinu, Abraham our father, that He would make him father of many nations. And Chazal teach that when we bring someone under the wings of the Shekhinah, their father becomes Abraham. So today, no matter where you are, you can decide to join the effort of ushering in the Messianic age that will be ruled by a Jewish king that will reestablish the line of broken biblical kings, and He will be the Messiah. So if you're hearing me today and you're a non-Jew and you're interested in learning more about Judaism, or you may be an unaffiliated Jew and want to return, I want you to visit bejewish.org. And if you want to convert to Judaism, please visit Torah Judaism International at torahjudaism.org. Thank you.